How's it going, everyone? Today we are going to be doing a weekly watch list for November 24th through the end of this week. What is that going to be? The 28th? Let's begin. We have ES pulled up over here. As you know, we've been in an uptrend for quite some time since basically May. We have the boundaries really formed right here off this bear flag that formed when we were first falling down from the Liberation Day highs. And then it became more solidified at each of these peaks and troughs marked out over here. Don't quite have all the bottoms marked, but you can see them pretty clearly. Like right here, for example, there, etc., etc. The last week, basically the entirety of the week was just confirming the breakdown. We also had Nvidia earnings to wait for. That was over here Wednesday evening, and then Thursday. This is the response that we got. Breakdown came over here, retested it perfectly, and then rejected. And that was a killer trade, to be quite honest. But anyways, what are we going to be expecting for this week? Now, I do expect a bit of a bounce to come in. However, it will be short-lived, just like the rest of them have been. We are officially in a downtrend. We have this higher high over here, as you can see. And then now we are really starting to form. So high, higher high. Now we're starting to form bearish structure. So we have this high, low, lower low, lower high. That is a bear trend, ladies and gents. So any sort of pop that we're going to be getting needs to be, if we do become or have a bullish bias again, it will need to form some high time frame bullish structure, which is just not there yet. So in the meantime, we're expecting it to go down, but obviously in any trend, you're going to have moves up and down, but the trend will still stay intact. So I'm expecting a bit of a bounce going into the beginning of the week here. And then once economic data starts coming out, specifically on Wednesday with retail sales and home sales and everything, that will probably be a good trigger for more downside to come in. The key level that we're going to be looking for is this right here. So 56.90 or 65.95, excuse me, to 66.15 effectively. This SR zone has held up as the bottom, relative bottom, since September 11th. Oh, shit, what the fuck? But anyways, so this breakdown from here, a conclusive breakdown, is going to be an insane short opportunity once it does come. Now, in the meantime, in terms of longs, I do not expect price to go any higher than this level, or really maximum right here. This is the line in the sand for bearish structure, because then price gets acceptance back into the uptrend, and then we can start, really continuing that uptrend and going higher and higher. That is not obviously out of the picture, but we, react to whatever is provided to us. But so far, I'm not really expecting. I'm expecting price to go into here, maybe, and then go down, or max like right over here, to get a sweep of these levels and the liquidity that's resting above it. Now, as price goes down further and further, we're really keeping an eye on this level. This level right here, the 67.53 effectively, and the 67.95 specifically. We are bearish below these levels, and any pops we do get, I'm expecting, good short opportunities over here. Any longs that we look for, we're not inherently going to look for longs because the bias is bearish, obviously. So we flipped, and now, instead of being call prone and having that be our like modus operandi, we're going to be, put prone and looking for short opportunities mainly. EMAs on the high time frame, including the daily, the weekly, it's, we're resting between them. So these are going to be more like high time frame, the weekly candles that we're looking for, as in like, we want, if we're bearish, we want the weekly candle to really close below here, and ideally below the 21 to really confirm the bear trend. If we're bullish, we want it to close above this to take it back over. As you can see on Friday, it bounced perfectly. Like the low was literally the weekly 21 EMA level. If you longed off this, that was pixel perfect long. Shorts anywhere below here. Now, in terms of which sectors and stocks, like that is the indices. NQ, very similar picture, obviously. It's actually down even more. And looks even worse, to be quite honest, just because of the depth of the move down. Don't have it drawn up over here, but you can kind of see like right over here. So it's holding them, but it is quite comfortably a lot lower below the 9 EMA on the weekly and a lot lower on the daily EMAs as well than ES is. So tech is a much weaker industry, and that brings us into the sectors and the stocks that we're going to be looking at. Now, Nvidia. Nvidia had great earnings on paper and everything. However, a lot of fears about accounting discrepancies and such came up. And, that basically led to this huge drop over here, as well as just people really starting to fear this AI bubble popping. A lot of very, very strange comments coming out of all the tech CEOs. Sam Altman requesting a government backstop. Sundar Pichai, the Google CEO, saying, if an AI bubble pops, he told this to the shareholders, he said, every company will go down, even Google, even if it's not, that interlinked with NVIDIA. You have Jensen himself, the NVIDIA CEO, saying that if the earnings were not good for this quarter, that the world economy would have been, I don't know the exact words, but it would have fallen, is basically it. So a lot of strange comments. Not much of a fan, and it's obviously spooking the markets. So Nvidia is a company that obviously great company. It's the backbone of this whole AI bull run. But my thinking is it is simultaneously the strongest company, but also the one that is most at risk. And the moves for Nvidia on a trading level are really good because it has decently low implied volatility for options plays, as well as pretty good moves. I just looked at it recently, and Nvidia, the standard deviation, so the 1 sigma, for any like statistics guys out there, is about 4.23%, meaning like the average move of Nvidia is about anywhere from 0%, which is the mean, to 4.23%. So it gives a lot of room to move, while also being pretty cheap and for the contracts. So it's a stock that we want to be paying attention to. Key levels on Nvidia are marked out over here. So 183.56, 179.55, and 195.30 as an upside target. We are below the EMAs. We also have a bit of a downtrend right here. So it's not that clean. Maybe on the 4-hour it'd be better. Oh, yeah, it is. So you can see it's kind of been acting as resistance over here. This is the earnings pop. Like I said, obviously we're looking for the breakdown from here, 174.50 on this, down to 172.0. Once this level gets lost, Nvidia can go down a ton. Basically, the next support level would be around here, the swing low at, 168.40, and then really can go down all the way to 164.4. Once that happens, it's kind of really confirmed that we're in bearish territory with Nvidia, and so we can start to see price going a lot lower towards, you know, more established market structure levels. Um, a good bounce zone would be over here, 152.89, as you can see right here. Let me just mark it out. So you can see all-time high over here, a sweep over here. We had the break, retest, and then, you know, much higher. So a bearish target, like a longer term bearish target, would be 152.9. If you want to do some swings on that, like, you know, maybe a month to 3 months out, that would probably be a good target to look for. Next company that I'd like to keep an eye on is AMD. So AMD has been front running NVIDIA in terms of semiconductor dump. Really, all the non-Mag 7 companies have been front running, and so that gives them a pretty good bounce opportunity. But nonetheless, they are still obviously weaker. So in terms of bounce, as you can see over here, so previously AMD had a gap from actually right over here, from here 165 basically till 203.38. We dipped into the gap over here on this downtrend now, and now I'm expecting a little impulse higher into the EMAs. And for a stock like this that's comfortably below some key levels, like for example this one right here, right, you can see resistance, support, 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 broke down, and then, you know, so for a company like this that's or a chart that's super far extended from key levels and stuff like that, high time frame EMAs are going to be good levels to be shorting from. So the 9 and the 21 on the 4 hour, on the daily as well. Not saying that it can come up to 227.2 for, you know, a good pump. That would be probably an even better short level, especially if, whoops, we can get to this downtrend over here. Another company is MU. So MU, as you can see, kind of bounced right over here. You can see resistance chopping around here, break, support, retest, go higher, bounce off of here perfectly. Again, same sort of deal. I'm wanting a move to the next level or the EMAs, so 217.87, and then to go short on this for swings. Another one is cores. So cores, we have this big consolidation area over here, dip below into here twice with some bull divs. I'm expecting a bounce probably all the way to 17.89 and then to continue lower. SMCI as well. So SMCI is forming a couple of bull divs over here, but still just holding these EMAs as solid resistance. A move up to the 21 EMA and then go lower would not be, should not be something that's like unanticipated. Quite often you get that, especially when, you know, the 9 has been holding so long and so well. And we had this little peak above it. Good sign that we could get an impulse above to this 21 and then go even lower. If you want a long stock, Graal looks incredible. So probably the most bullish chart on the market besides Google as well. And Google is a little more iffy, obviously, because of being in the AI sector. But Graal is a small cap. They make blood tests for cancer, for a variety of different cancers. Huge potential for actually, like, you know, disrupting the market and making some really valuable tech. I can see this going first target over here at 103.43, or just, let's say just 103. And then after that, I would just target any fib extensions I can get. So from here to low, ideal bull target would be 120.92, so just 121. This chart looks incredible. I also posted a trade idea for Oklo the other day. Now, This has gone a lot lower uh, than when I posted it. We did not enter anything on this, thank God. But the idea was basically hold this level for a short-term bounce up to 121.5 and then go lower. Did not obviously do that. EMAs and this short-term SR level held. Likewise with this though, based off this candle and everything, I do expect a bit of a bounce, and maybe that idea will come into play now. But in terms of short targets and everything, $65 would be like a good short target. I'm still very bullish on Oklo long term and everything, but nonetheless, it is, we trade what's given to us in the market. Google is the other bullish stock that I have over here. So if you zoom in on the hourly, you can see it even better. But resistance, resistance, resistance. We had this little peak above here. The uptrend will be confirmed and validated by a retest of this level over here. So if you can get longs at this uptrend with a stop loss just below, that would be ideal. Bullish target, we're looking for a break from this level, and we can either do fib extension from here and go for the 2.0, or we can do a fib extension from here and go for the 1.618. Regardless, I would say this area in general is pretty good to target. So anywhere from 312.62 to 317.5, that's a good bull target. Again, if Google starts losing these EMAs, starts losing this uptrend line, then we flip bearish with a target down here to 289 basically. But the chart itself looks very bullish right now, so those are the levels we're looking for. And then I had one more stock. Oh yeah, Tesla. So Tesla over here, very interesting chart. So Tesla's been holding this uptrend since the Liberation Day bottoms, effectively. You can see over here, bottom, bottom, bottom over here, 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 and here. Formed a bit of a double bottom even. I don't expect this to hold, to be quite honest. If it does, that's going to be awesome, obviously, for Tesla bulls. But I think push into this SR zone, maybe max target of 415 to 429.36 over here at this diagonal uptrend level. You see here it held 1, 2, 3, 4, and then broke down, and then resistance 1, 2, 3 times. I keep mentioning these levels and how many times it taps because you can obviously see how the market structure is unfolding in regards to those levels and really respecting them. TA works when you just use it for determining things like market structure and trends and stuff like that, guys. All the other stuff is really confluence, but market structure is key. So when you have key levels like this, keep them on your charts and everything, and really pay attention to when price gets over there, and then see how it reacts to be able to take a trade. My guess is that Tesla will come maybe into here all the way to 429-ish, and then go lower. If it breaks above this and then has a daily candlestick close above, then it can be bullish again. But nonetheless, like right here, we're forming this lower high, this is technically a higher high, but bit of a downtrend now. Double bottoms over here. It's not the worst chart. It's a little more ambiguous, but the point is that the trade should be taken in regards to these market structure levels. So either a short right here with a stop loss above it, or a short over here with a stop loss above this uptrend level. Or you can look for longs over here with a stop loss below here. But really just any sort of trade respecting the key levels, that's what we're going to be looking for always. But yeah, that is it. It's going to be not too busy of a week in terms of news and everything. Not expecting that much in terms of price action. I think it's going to be very, very hectic and volatile once again. But externalities and stuff like that, unless it's something unforeseen, untold, like a Trump tweet or something, we're not really expecting that hectic of a news cycle, which is a great thing for us. Um, Last thing I actually want to cover is Bitcoin over here. So Bitcoin is looking very good for a short-term reversal and potentially even like, if this is the bottom, that would be awesome for bulls. I kind of don't think so. I don't think it's the bottom on anything, to be quite honest. But again, like bull, with a bull case, ideally it would be. But we have this SR zone that has, been extended all the way up until April 2021 highs. You can see it act as resistance here, 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 support. We flipped it then, and then now it's support over here once again. So with Bitcoin, and now I'm going to zoom in even more on the hourly. You can kind of see Bitcoin. It has been, let's get that. Yeah, even. Okay. It's forming a bit of an inverse head and shoulder. So the shoulder here, the head with that high volume sweep down into here. If you notice, this is probably the highest volume we've had since October 10th. So a lot of, you know, trading and demand and everything came in. It seems to have been a market shift, as in an order flow shift specifically, as in, we were pretty bearish consistently. We had this huge volume at these lows come in, and that's pretty indicative of, now a shift in who has control of the trend occurred. In this case, it was a bearish trend, so now bulls are in control for a while. As I said, I don't think it's going to be very long lived. I expect, a pump all the way up until this SR zone over here, and then we can go down even lower. If this gets torn through, I can just draw some scenarios. So either we dip into here and then go even lower, or we break through and my upside target is going to be around here. I don't have it marked out. I just tend to delete a lot of stuff, but I always remember the levels once I have them drawn out. So I'd say around here, you can see support, support, breakdown, resistance, and then continue lower. I can expect maybe a move all the way up until this SR zone. So a target of 100K, let's say, max bull target, and then, we go lower from that. So if you were to trade Bitcoin, obviously you'd look at this level right here, so we have a break and retest, and you'd either want to trade the break or the retest and go long. You can either set your TP over here, and then you can, observe, is it rejecting the level? Then you can flip short, have a stop loss right above. I can visualize it here for you guys. So for example, you could have a stop loss like this, set it above the swing high over here. Or, you can look, is it finding acceptance into here? If so, then you can set a long, set it your stop loss below, and have a target of all the way up until here, 98.884. Again, we have the levels marked out. The main job after that, the preparation is one phase. The second phase is going to be reacting to it properly. So it's the planning and then the execution. The execution will be dependent on what you see being, happening in a price action in real time when it's at these levels. That's what's really important. If I were looking at it over here, for example, in detail, I'd want to look at, like these candlesticks holding above here or below, below or above. I'd want to see, some volume pickup as it's getting rejected. So like right here, for example, you see volume is getting pretty low and it starts picking up right here, has a wick all the way to the top. So volatility is increasing because just look at how much, how like the size of this candle compared to the previous ones over here. Volume is drying up, and then now, it had this tiny range in price action over here, and then one single hourly candle, it encompassed the entire SR zone over here. So volatility is picking up, volume is picking up. That's a good sign that, and it closed below the SR zone over here, unlike these, below the EMAs as well. Good sign that, you should enter short. So that's something similar to what we would want to see. You want to see higher volume come in on the breakdown. You want to see higher volatility pick up. You want to see price react off of these levels. You want to see closes on key time frames. So in this case, the hourly, above or below the SR zones to really get your confirmation as to what you should do. Hope that makes a lot of sense. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, compliments even, would also be appreciated. Feel free to drop them in the comments. And again, guys, we are hosting a Discord group. It is completely free to enter. The link will be down in the description. We trade 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, the entirety of the market open hours. Despite not touching crypto directly, we do trade crypto assets and funds like, BITO, BMNR, all the companies that are basically crypto holdings, ETHA as a, synthetic ETH, basically. So whether you're trading crypto or equities, day trades, swing trades, we do it all basically. So hope to see you in the group. Thank y'all for joining and have a great rest of your night. Peace.